Podcast Answer Man, episode number 54. This show is sponsored by AG Design.
Need a new website, logo, or artwork for your podcast? Visit ageedesign.com/podcast today.
For a 20% discount, be sure to mention the Podcast Answer Man. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. My name is Cliff Ravenscraft, and today I want to come to you with just some ideas, some thoughts about new technology that's out there. And I'm amazed. I've been watching the Google email group at googlegroups.com for PodCamp Ohio. If you guys haven't heard about PodCamp Ohio, that is something that is currently being planned. There's a lot of effort going into that, and it's going to be very close to where we are. In fact, I think our entire family is going to be at PodCamp Ohio. Myself and my wife, obviously, the two of us representing GSPN.TV, but even my daughter Megan, who's 8 years old, is going to be representing herself as the host of the Hannah Montana Fan Podcast, which it just boggles the mind at how popular her podcast is. And so I'm just so enthused with her success, and I'm thinking as we get closer to the date, depending on their schedule and how things iron out, she may actually have her own session, maybe a roundtable discussion Megan will do for children in podcasting. Now, just so you know, I am also going to be Stephanie and I are confirmed. We are going to PodCamp NYC 2, and that's going to be April 25th and 26th. If you're in the Brooklyn area, we certainly want to encourage you to join us. I do have already some folks that have requested that we have an opportunity to meet up with them, and so we will be doing a GSPN.TV meetup when we get it PodCamp NYC 2, so either that evening or one of the evenings that we'll be there. I think we're going to be there Friday, all day Saturday, all day Sunday. So obviously our good friend Chef Mark is hosting us, and he's going to show us the sites, but I'm certain that we will definitely plan the availability to have just a meet and greet and just have a wonderful time together. I'm very much looking forward to it. And in fact, if you're listening to this podcast, I want to encourage you that, gosh, you should sign up for one of these podcasts. I do want to welcome all the new listeners to this show. I mean, I've noticed some great increases in download numbers, and I know my great sponsor, Evan Agee over at AG Design, that's ageedesign.com. If you go to /podcast, tell him that you heard about him from the Podcast Answer Man, anything you need from him, whether it be designing a website from the ground up, whether it be getting a new customized theme for your podcast so that your WordPress looks nice, bright, and shiny and separated from the rest of the pack, whether it be maybe you just need a graphic art for that cover art that you see in iTunes or on iPods, 20% off if you mention the Podcast Answer Man. So he's awesome, does great work. And today, like I said, we're going to talk about technology. There is some new technology I've seen. Of course, I've mentioned Twitter. If you guys don't know what Twitter is, you have to know what Twitter is. Twitter is this application online that allows people to stay connected with each other. And just simply ask this question, what are you doing? In fact, I'm going to go to my Twitter page right now, and I'm going to tell you what some of my friends are doing. Right now, I can tell you that 2 minutes ago, somebody by the username Fulltime Mom said, just finished watching Ella Enchanted with the kids and going to change the laundry and start putting it away. Now, I happen to know that Fulltime Mom is my wife, Stephanie. And so it's interesting, even though I'm downstairs, I now know what's going on in the other room in this house. Julian says, hey, P-Dub, yeah, I don't look at the keyboard. You totally need a new one, but give it a shot if you want. And he put a little link here. So I'm going to click on this and see what in the world's going on there. And so it looks to me like he has given a link to a typing test, which, wow, that looks really cool. It says typing lessons for Dvorak, the U.S. Alternative Standard Keyboard, an online typing tutorial. See, now, basically what happened is Julian Smith is having a conversation with P-Dub on Twitter. Now, I see that Maggie has stated that she's sitting at the airport eating breakfast/lunch, waiting to board her plane. She's kind of sad to go back home, I guess, but it's been fun. She has been in California visiting friends, and she's been on spring break, but now she's heading home. Matthew Ebel, by the way, says the Wellesley Recycling Center is blowing his mind. Every town in America needs a place like this. So it sounds to me like he's taking a tour of some kind of facility for recycling, which I think is pretty cool. Good friend of mine, his name is Steve over at Lifespring Podcast Network. He's talking with somebody. So I can really keep in touch with what all my friends are doing on Twitter, because the question is what are you doing? And of course, right now, if you go and I happen to be one of your friends on Twitter, it says recording some live podcast Answer Man shows on TalkShoe and Ustream right now. And I put the links to Ustream. And of course, that's exactly what Amanda has just typed in the room. She says, that's how I found out about this. And so anyway, this is what it's all about. It's about Twitter. What's neat is that you can decide who you want to follow. You can say, okay, tell me anytime somebody updates or any of these people update, and put this all in order, chronological for me. And it's a really neat way to learn about people and what's going on in their lives. And I do recall early on when Twitter first came out, people said, why on earth would you want to do something like that? And recently a video came out by this group called Common Craft, and it is an excellent video tutorial about what Twitter is, and it made such an excellent point. It said that, the number one thing we ask each other whenever we get on the phone is like, so what you doing? And why do we ask that question? It's because we really do care. We want to know what other people are up to. It really helps. It helps fill in a little bit of the relational gap that's between us, as to say what's going on. And now what I'm learning is that through Twitter, we find out about other things that we normally wouldn't have found out about. For example, learned that certain people like certain things or certain style of music, and sometimes they like certain style of art or technology, and they put links to some of these things, and it's a really neat way to just stay in touch with a lot of people and know what's going on in their lives. Twitter is really awesome. Now, Amanda in the chat room says Twitter sounded so silly when Cliff first talked about it, but she loves it now, is what she says in the chat room. So that's exactly it. It is something that sounds very awkward. It's like, man, I don't want to tell everybody what I'm doing. Well, don't tell them what you don't want to tell them. Just tell them what you do want to tell them. You can tell them as little as you want, as much as you want. It's completely up to you. It's not like once you sign up, you're required to send out a tweet, which is what we call Twitter messages, every hour on the hour. It's not like that at all. So yeah, Twitter is amazing, and everybody in the chat room is going crazy now. In fact, I see that just a bunch of people have just signed in. I want to say welcome to you all. Very glad to have you guys here. Some other technology that recently came out, I saw on Twitter, of course, my good friend Victor Cahael. And Victor does the Typical Mac User podcast, and he says, oh my gosh, this new program is going to take care of so many different needs. And it's a program that's called EverNote, EverNote. And here's what EverNote is. It is amazing. Basically, have you ever had you just wanted to keep everything all in one place? If you can just imagine you're browsing the web and you see some content there, and you definitely don't want to print it out, but copying and pasting and all these other things, it can get kind of clunky. And where do you store all this? Do you put it in a Word document or whatever? Well, just imagine this. Let's just say that you go to somebody's blog and they have the quote of the century, and it's something that you want to reference back to later down the road. Well, what you do is you go to that blog page and, first of all, you sign up for an EverNote account. And once you get an EverNote account, once you're approved for their beta system, then what you can do is there's this little button that you can put up on your shortcut bar, and it's called Clip to EverNote. So all I do is I go to any website, I highlight it, highlight the text, and I can even highlight pictures. I can highlight anything on a web page. I can highlight it and click Clip to EverNote. And what it does is it takes a screen capture of what I've highlighted and makes that available as a searchable note for later use. Get this, okay? Get this. Let's say that what you're copying is, let's just say that you find an image on the web, and it is an image with your friend and his girlfriend, and the two of them look really cute and everything, and all this. This is where am I coming up with this as an example? I mean, come on, Cliff, think of something better than this. I mean, really cute. They look great together. Oh man. So let's just say you just got this picture and you want to be able to share it later down the road. So what you do is you go and you clip it to your Everboard. Now, maybe 4 months down the road, and let's just say you didn't have time to tag it. 4 months down the road, you want to show somebody that picture, but you don't know where it's at, where to find it. You didn't tag it. You didn't take any time, but you do know this. It said there was a sign in the background, and the sign says, "Welcome to the Smoky Mountains." And you remember that because you saw that in the picture. Listen to this. EverNote has the ability to go in and read, like optical character recognition, images so that it will be searchable. So when you go to your EverNote account and you type in the search Smoky Mountains, anytime you've ever got any text or an image with the word Smoky Mountains in it, it pulls up. It will pull up. It is amazing. Not only that, but it says that if you take a business card and you take your nice digital camera, your 5 megapixel camera, and you get a good clean shot of a business card, guess what? You just upload it. That image, you just upload it. You can email the image to your EverNote account, and you just email it, and you don't have to tag it. You don't have to do anything. And get this: you take a picture, a good high quality picture of all your business cards, and then send them all to your EverNote account. And then if you ever want to find somebody's business contact information, you type in their name, you could type in their street name, you could type in their phone number. It's going to pull it all up, and it's beautiful. Now, it's not perfect. It doesn't do optical character recognition perfectly, but it is scary how amazingly great it is. Now, some other things you can do is you can take text notes, you can do to-do lists, you can do anything. What I think is really cool is the idea of when you go to a conference or something like that and they write some notes up on a dry erase board, and you just take a picture of it, and boom, it does it. And it even recognizes handwriting to a certain degree. So the nice thing about it is that there is a PC and a Mac version of the software that you can store on your own personal hard drive. And the application, the EverNote application, is pretty nicely laid out. There are some features where you can tag everything. The nice thing is that there is an online web application that looks very similar to the desktop application. And not only that, but there's a synchronize button. So you can install this on your Mac, you can install it on your PC, and you can hit synchronize, and every note you take is available in all these different places. I think it is going to be amazing. Now, I'm trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to use it, what it's going to do for me, but I can just tell you that I am excited about EverNote. And so if anybody's out there and you want an invitation to EverNote, send me an email to cliff@gspn.tv, subject line EverNote. Let's see here. Another technology. What was the other technology I just found? Oh, it's something simple and something fun. Something fun. It's not necessarily fun, but it's something neat. I think it's very useful. And here's what it is. It's a wake-up call. I know that whenever I go out of town and I stay in a hotel, I'm very concerned about whether or not I'm going to wake up early enough to make it to that very important seminar or meeting or continuing education class that I've come to attend. And as a result, I call the operator or the front desk and I say, I'd like to set up a wake-up call. Now, the thing is that, at home, you rely on these goofy little alarms, and sometimes the electric goes out. Sometimes it's just, sometimes just the alarms just don't work the way they should. However, wake-up calls have always worked for me. Now, here is the cool thing is that a long time ago, I found, I can't remember, 555 Tell Me. And 1-800-555-TELL, I think is the old number. Anyway, they used to do a wake-up service, but they got rid of that service. And I don't know what it was. Oh, I know what it was. It was about 1 o'clock in the morning, and I wanted to get up at 7 the next day. And I looked online to see if I could find a wake-up call service, because I remember when Tell Me got rid of theirs, I did lots and lots of searching and nothing was there. But that was a couple years ago. And I've been thinking, you know what? That with all the things that are out there, like Call Me and what is that? Grand Central, with all the talk shoe innovations and all these people building things off of telephone bridges, I had to think there must be some other things out there. Well, guess what? There are lots of different wake-up calls out there now. And one of them is called Telepixie. And it's just one of the free ones that are out there. And it's Telepixie, telepixie.com. Now, if you go there, you can sign up for a free account. Now, how in the world does this fit into podcasting and new media? Well, number one, I've told you that when it comes to podcasting and new media, technology and Web 2.0 stuff, I believe, is very much a part of all of this. However, here's something that is extremely interesting. Now, you have in the past been approached with the fact that, RSS is a great way to notify people of new episodes. In telepixie.com, they not only have free wake-up calls, but they have reminder calls, they have weather forecasts, but here's the big one. They have these things called group broadcast calls for free. For free. You can set up, and as a matter of fact, I haven't done this, I haven't looked at it, but there's so much cutting-edge technology out there that is just available to us for free. It's just simply amazing. So if I click on here, I've logged in, and I click on broadcasts, and it says Telepixie offers a variety of features that lets members communicate. Call a list. So I'm clicking on that. And it says call up to 1,000 people at once. Basically, you upload your phone numbers, Telepixie will scrub your list for duplicates, let you record a message, and you broadcast your call. If you'd like, you can call more than 1,000. If you would like to call more than 1,000 numbers, contact customer service. Get this. If you had a database of phone numbers and you wanted to send out emergency messages about certain events and stuff like that, it's kind of like a mailing list on steroids where you're calling people's phones. So, anyway, I think that is awesome. Now, in the chat room, it says that Daniel's saying that EverNote does not support Firefox 3 yet. No, they don't. I would suggest. Is Firefox 3 out of beta now, Daniel? And I'll wait till he responds to that out of the chat box or out of the chat room. No, it's still in beta. Okay. So anyway, I'm sure that they'll have it all taken care of when the beta is released. For those of you who are out there, if you're a super pro user, then you might be using Firefox 3. I personally do not. I tried it out for a little while, did not like it. It was a little buggy for me, so I've decided I am not using Firefox 3 until it comes out. However, I will tell you there is another thing that is up with the EverNote, and that is it doesn't work with Tiger. Anyway, that is a little bit of a drawback, but if you have Leopard, it does work there. So that's very cool. I think EverNote and Telepixie and all of these other new technologies that are out there are simply amazing. And they can be tools. They can be tools that can be used in wonderful ways. Now, the other thing about EverNote, and it's something that I've been just looking into, they have they have something available for the iPhone, and if I'm not or they have something for mobile browsing, so you can access your EverNote via mobile browser. But I noticed that there was a setup for IMAP. I'm not exactly sure why, but if I'm not mistaken, I'm thinking that it's going to download all your stuff and kind of sync up using IMAP, using the Mail application on your phone. If that's the truth, if that works, then wow, would that be cool? I mean, that would be typically as though EverNote was an existing application on the memory of your iPhone. So that would be very cool. The other thing that would be cool is if, and I believe this is possible, and I've just briefly heard it mentioned somewhere in one of the different things that is available on EverNote, and that is the availability to make certain of your notepads or note folders or whatever public. And so that would be excellent for sharing publicly the show notes that I would gather for different things. So rather than creating a Google document and publishing it and all of these other things, I could create a folder, I guess, on EverNote, and I could just copy text. I could clip to EverNote pictures. I could clip to EverNote all these other things, and that would just be really, really cool. So just lots of opportunities, lots of possibilities out there. One of the things that I do want to mention to you guys for the podcast Answer Man is that you have heard me mention in the past that I am going to be doing a webinar called Podcasting 101. And this is where, in essence, the idea, the premise of Podcasting 101, the webinar, is that I am going to take you over a three-hour period of time with up to 10 people who will participate as in the class. I will walk you step by step through the process of having absolutely nothing, no artwork, no anything. We're gonna generate the name of the show. We're gonna generate the artwork. We're gonna generate a WordPress.com or a Blogger.com free blog setup. We are going to use a free account for hosting. We're going to walk through step by step everything it takes to set up a podcast just to make it function. And we are going to edit. We're going to record a show. We're going to edit. We're going to edit the ID3 tags. We're going to upload the show. We're going to put it into the feed. We're going to take that feed. We're going to run it through FeedBurner, and we're going to submit that feed to iTunes. And at the end of it all, we will have a live functioning podcast available for the world. And we're going to walk through it step by step, and you'll have the ability to ask questions. The cost of the seminar is $75 per person, and it has the availability for up to 10 people. I already have 3 people confirmed, so we do have 7 seats available. I will be announcing the date and time of that very shortly. If you would like to be on the list of people who are notified of Podcasting 101, the webinar, I encourage you to send me an email to cliff@gspn.tv. Again, that is cliff@gspn.tv, and it's going to be within the next 3 weeks. So I can assure you of that. Could even be within the next 2 weeks. So I will be doing multiple of these webinars. In fact, if you're interested, I'm also going to be doing a podcasting roundtable webinar where we will have the ability for seasoned podcasters to be on a panel with us, and folks can come and ask questions related to the pro user, and it'll be a 3-hour seminar. And I'm very interested in doing that for people who are a little bit beyond the beginning level. So if you're interested in that, again, I want to encourage you to get in touch with me. And one last thing to note, again, if you haven't heard already, if you go to cliffravenscraft.com or podcastanswerman.com, you'll see that there is an equipment list. If you click on equipment, you'll see all the list of equipment. It's the most asked for thing. It's like, Cliff, what in the world are you using to record your show to get the sound that you have? And so as a result of answering that request, I have put a list of all the equipment that I use. But not only that, people have begun to realize, and the word has got out, that I am the place to go for your pro audio gear. Whether you're a beginner and you are looking for something just to get you started, or if you're like my client yesterday, the customer that called yesterday said, you know what, I'm getting ready to get my feet into the area of podcasting, and I know that I'm not just going to start this and stop. It's something I'm certain that we are doing. And what I want is equipment, but I don't want to upgrade later. Please advise me. And I have been able to walk people hand in hand how to pick out the right gear just for them. And if you're looking for some podcasting equipment, if you're looking for a Heil PR40, microphone, the best microphone in the world, whether you're looking for a mixer, whether you're looking for a way to take in telephone calls instead of using Skype because it crashes on you all the time, whatever your needs are, give me a call, or actually send me an email. We'll work some details out. That's cliff@gspn.tv. And of course, I'm fresh out of calls. I cannot believe it. My inbox is at 0, and I am all caught up on all the questions for Podcast Answer Man. So I want to encourage you to call as soon as you can and ask your question for regarding podcasting, new media. I'd love to answer your questions. One other thing. I did get one email, and I printed it out, and I had it sitting in front of me waiting to answer, and I lost it. So I don't know the name of the person who asked me this question, but it was somebody who's getting ready to go to college. And one of the things is that, they were looking to pick a major. Now, podcasting and new media, I don't think is quite a major that you can choose in college, but this person said this is the field that they want to go into. In fact, my little brother is coming tonight into the studio for the first time during our Lost podcast, and he's going to be watching things. He's very interested into going into broadcasting and podcasting and new media down the road. But anyway, this person called or wrote in and asked, if I were going to go to college, what kind of classes would you suggest that I take that might be helpful? Now, being one that went to college and experienced a bunch of different areas of interest, there are a couple things that I would suggest that you take. Number one, I would suggest not just only taking the basic speech class, but taking several speech classes. I think that they'll help you tremendously. Even though if you're not thinking about going into what we call public speaking, speech classes will help you to be very articulate in the way that you communicate thoughts and ideas. Another class that I would suggest that you take would be drama. I go into the theater department, and if nothing else, take the basic theater classes. Take the history of theater, or not the history of theater, but the introduction to theater, and take Theater 101 and Theater 102. You want to get in and make sure you read the description of these classes. You want a class that is going to force you to memorize lines, to act, to put yourself in the position of pretending you're somebody else. You want to be put on the spot and have to do improv kind of acting. These things help you really break out of yourself and that shell that you have, and allows you to express yourself. Anything that can cause you to do that. Another area that I would suggest is any kind. Now, I will tell you that when I went to college, the computer courses that they had were atrocious. They were horrible. However, today, I would have to suggest, I would have to believe that there are some computer classes out there that talk about the latest and greatest in technology and new media. And if they are out there, take them. Learn as much as you can about the cutting edge technology that is driving all of these things. And not to mention the fact that if some people may think HTML is dead. If they have a basic HTML class, you should take it. If they have a basic programming class for PHP, take it. Whatever it is, take it as much as you can understand and learn in technology. It will be very helpful in a career in podcasting and new media. So anyway, I am going to go ahead and wrap up this episode of the Podcast Answer Man. I want to say thank you very much for joining us. I'm very thankful to see all the folks that have joined in the chat room, and we'll be back soon with another episode of the Podcast Answer Man. If you want to call in, you can do that. Just call area code 859-795-4067. Again, the phone number to call in your questions, your things you want to know about podcasting and new media. Call them in at area code 859-795-4067. And again, thank you to our sponsor, Evan Agee at ageedesign.com/podcast. Tell him you heard about him from the Podcast Answer Man and get 20% off of anything he can do for you.